because it happens. Next on the list, I got a short thing on sales and marketing. I got sales sucks here. It sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. I was a troubleshooter. I figured how to do something quick. I'm good at it. That's how we've thrived in the business. But when it comes to sales and marketing, I found myself constantly just abandoning every tactic. And I would lose it. These guys can attest to that. But, I learned that you had to stick to a plan. And for me, it was, I had to have an analogy, and it was fishing. So for me, sales became fishing, where it was, you got to keep going back. You're not going to get that big fish every time, but you might get it. You never know, and I say, go for the deep play, reach for the fences. I've sent Warren Buffett emails asking for freight. I mean, come on, you can live to sell to live. But with that, you get the account, what do you do with it? You get them, you got to keep them. You got to keep them happy. You got to be up to date with them. You have to be in their ear, because they'll forget about you every time. I have customers that I have dealt with for 2 years who still just, it'll be a couple weeks, and then we'll have to call them and say, oh, hey, what's going on? They'll be like, oh yeah, let's go. Let's ready to rock and roll. But, that's just the requirements of the business. When you're dealing with stuff like we do, it's not necessarily a commodity. We're not manufacturing anything or inventing anything. We really have to go chase after the product. And for us, a lot of it's just customer service. Just out there, just every single shipment, just treating it with the utmost importance. And that's one of the biggest things for me, is just being constantly professional. Always just maintaining just that same level of support, same level of etiquette, eloquence, everything. That's what you want. That's what sets FedEx apart, and that's kind of how I learned it, just listening to FedEx customer service reps. And I between all of the carriers, I just realized they were better with customer service. They were nicer. They give you your answer. And in that, it makes the job a lot easier. Now, as far as marketing tactics go, right now it's digital marketing. You have to get it out there. We've spent so much time developing our service platform that in some ways it's almost as if we've been hidden kind of behind the scenes, especially with the licensing we possess. But now with everything that we're able to provide, we're ready to just push on and just boom, full-blown marketing campaign, get out to everybody in the country. Because we can cover everything. I mean, we have partnerships, integrations provided that just, allow us to compete with a company like C.H. Robinson or, your Echo Global Logistics, et cetera. And in that sense,
you got to note it that in this industry, digital marketing is kind of still behind a little bit. That physical thing, the physical touch, selling a service, especially B2B, it requires a lot of just knowing the person, talking to them, things like that, because so many people do it. You can find different people to do it, and if they treat you badly, then you don't really want to do that. So if you can give somebody enough reason to kind of hop on your side and see how you provide your service, and you have to stick up with that, and you just can't go for the sell the first day. You have to just kind of slow play it and just build those relationships.
Absolutely,
that's the main key there for in kind of sales, and for marketing with when you're marketing to older people.
Absolutely,
you gotta go with the older tactics too. So
well, it's an old industry we're in. Absolutely, no, it's almost feel like you have to force the change. It's we're out there with our banner, trying to do as best we can. There's big ships out there, big companies, but it seems like in some ways we start to get noticed by them. They're starting to think, who the heck is Steel Valley Logistics? But in that sense, that leads into customer or company success. Now I list company success and due diligence, and I'll get to the due diligence. But for me, I'd say with the legal background, I was always an advocate. So I consider it freight advocacy and customer advocacy in general. We do a ton of stuff behind the scenes that the customer never hears about. Either, dispute resolution, mitigations between, carriers, or, something bad's happened, there's been an accident. We're there to help them. That's the carrier. And at the same time, we're there to be transparent for the customer, to let them know what's going on each step of the way. We've had a few customers tell us, essentially what you've provided us is just peace of mind. And, knowing that, and, knowing that the formula works in general, just has us pushing on. But I list here knowing your limitations. So with you I say that in the sense that don't bite off more than you could chew. Don't go out and sell and sell and sell and, get all of these people interested. Don't promote the industry, your business so much that you drown it in business and, you can't handle the work and you find yourself having to push it off to other people and, do third-party deals. In that sense, there's a lot of times, customers will quote, we're brokers, just be spot quotes. Today we probably quoted, 20 to 30 shipments. We might get 10% of those. In that sense, it's just, for us, they might say, okay, if you have a better option, and it's secured, yeah, we'll take it. But, they're not going to waste time trying to negotiate. You either come with the option or you come with the best price. Now, when you come with the best price, you're tossing a coin in the air. You can use any kind of technology you want. We use various load boards, rating tools, anything that can get us close to the number we need. Sometimes those numbers are very good. And sometimes that market will flip-flop completely, and then we'll find ourselves, a few $100s behind. And at that time, we're honest with the customer. We tell them what's happened. And we tell them, get it to somebody else that has an option. The freight's and the order's the most important part. We don't want your customer to have to suffer because, our limitations. And, with my 3 keys to success, just honesty, kindness, and compassion. That's it. 3 simple things for business. I think it was Abe Lincoln that once said, and this is probably butchering of the phrase, but a single drop of honey catches more flies than a bowl full of vinegar. And with that, it's true, just through our experiences. I mean, you can imagine, we're out there dancing for pennies and getting screamed at, but we navigate it well. We're patient with the customer. We're completely upfront with them what's going on, what carriers we're being used. We're kind. We're actually considerate of what was going on with their day. And we're compassionate about our craft. We like what we do. We like the fact that our customers are coming to and relying on us for these important issues. Now with that, it's the freight industry is kind of glossed over. It's very kind of behind the scenes. You don't necessarily know it. You'll see your UPSs, your FedExes, but there's so many carriers. I think we've over, at this point, 300 different carriers we've signed up, not including, common carriers, steamship lines, rail lines. And in that, you really got to know who to trust, and you really got to work to avoid the pitfalls, because there's a lot of things out there, especially in our industry, that will just leave you hanging. It could be carriers that just drop orders, working with other brokers. For us, we co-broker. The industry will call it double brokering, but we let you know as a customer who you're dealing with, what carrier they were able to provide. And for me, the way I see it is I'd like to open up the entire network of freight to a customer and try to get the biggest market possible in order to get the best price. And most times it works, sometimes it doesn't. You really have to be able to vet your carriers. Thankfully, there's online programs for that. I would hope that for other industries, you can go through and, really vet a customer. I know that there's organizations here in the Valley that'll help you do that. I think one's the Northwest Commission. They'll help you internationally. And then just, your local school organizations, talk to your guys that, are in the industry that have been around different industries, have been around the block when it comes to business, that know that there's risks out there, because you don't just want to jump into it just blindly. My gosh, can you imagine if we didn't know what we were doing and started those? And at the same time, you want to learn from your mistakes. Personally, we don't make too many mistakes. We do have a 100% successful delivery record. That's through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but mistakes do happen. Internally, a lot of times, you'll find yourself, losing schedule on things, whether it's billing, invoicing. You really want to stay, up to date with your work, what's going on. If you have any kind of work laying around, do it. Just get it done. And that's, and all that combined, that's your due diligence. Do the job, get it done, be open, honest, and kind about it with the customer. And with that, I think you're not going to have any problems. Now, the end of this, I just have navigating the business through a pandemic. I don't know how everybody feels out there about the pandemic here in the Valley. I don't think we were necessarily affected as the rest of the country was. And for that, I thank God. We were very fortunate. In Mercer County, we've experienced some of the lowest cases and death rates. Youngstown, however, in Mahoning and Trumbull counties have experienced a little bit higher. My heart goes out to all of them there, and all the small business owners, the larger businesses that locally here, that have suffered because of it. I really think there will be a rebound. For us, I thought, when they issued it, we were negotiating with some Chinese nationals and some local politicians about, opening up a supply chain here in the Valley, bringing rail back and everything. And they announced a pandemic, and we kind of thought, what's going to happen? Are we going to go out of business? And, I think for a few days, just like everybody else, would you agree, guys, it kind of just came back for us and just the freight started moving again. Sadly, in some cases, it was, businesses closing down and they were consolidating, and we got those orders. And, it was difficult at times to talk to individuals who you knew were losing their jobs that day. Me, I'm always on the sales, so I'm trying to just wrangle up sales agents, but I've gotten a few calls back. But in that, we actually experienced quite an upturn. We were able to, upgrade our business, our insurance. We took on more business than we thought we could, that we could even expect. And through that, we started to grow more, and we just kept moving and moving and moving. And I liken it to the scene in Forrest Gump when they're out there in the shrimping boat in the hurricane, and there's Forrest and Lieutenant Dan, and they're just sitting there, and the storm's batshit crazy. And we were just like that. We're out there, there's all these big companies kind of just chilling out, relaxing. They were firing people. You heard of a lot of layoffs in the transportation industry. There's still a lot of closures happening.